My name is Stacy. First, I just wanted to thank you guys for all being here tonight. I think I speak on behalf of all of the scholarship recipients when I say this. Your support means a lot to us. To all the family members and friends that are here tonight, we thank you as well. You're the ones who never left our side. During the hardest times in our lives, you're the ones who helped make us stronger. Now look at us. We're all here celebrating together. I want to thank 1 million for Anna for making tonight possible. This is my 3rd year with the foundation, and each year I feel more honored to come back. This year, I was asked to speak about my battle with Ewing sarcoma, and tonight I'm honored to share my story. It all dates back to February 2008. I was a sophomore attending a small town high school. For me, the biggest concerns in my life revolved around winning basketball games. For the first time, I played on a varsity team. In small schools, that's a pretty big deal. I thought I was a lot cooler than I really was. In fact, looking back now, I am positive that I was stuck up. Nobody could tell me this though, because I was a typical hard-headed teenager. I remember the onset of the pain like it was yesterday. I went to my geometry class that day feeling normal, but by the end of the class I was in tears. The pain I felt can't be adequately described because there's no other sensation in this world that can compare. I had never felt a pain so paralyzing that I didn't want to move. I lived about 15 minutes from the school that I attended, and I had spent the year carpooling to school with a couple of friends that lived close to me. My mother was a teacher in the area, so my friends would pick me up and drop me off at her school. Normally, I would walk into my mom's classroom after school, sit down at one of the desks, and work on my homework. However, on this particular day, it was all that I could do to just make it to her classroom without collapsing. The pain that I felt in my hip had advanced within just a few hours. Instead of sitting at one of the desks, I climbed on top of them, curled up into a ball, and continued to cry. I lay there until my mom walked in. Very alarmed, she came rushing over to me to see what was wrong. We decided to go to an emergency clinic. After a couple days, a couple shots, and a couple painkillers, the doctors told us that I had injured my hip from playing basketball. They assured us that this was common and normal from the impact that basketball players put on their bodies. The constant jumping had caused stress fractures all along my hip. At least this is what the doctors told us. They suggested that I rest for 6 to 8 weeks and then continue with my normal activities. Not knowing any better, we agreed. As time went on, the pain got worse. My teachers were complaining because I was falling asleep during class. I felt tired and dizzy most of the time, and the pain in my hip had become unbearable. We decided to go back to the doctor for a second opinion. This doctor told us that there appeared to be a tumor on the bone that was causing enough force to crack the bone in several places. He told us that the tumor looked to be benign or non-cancerous. My parents decided to get another opinion, so we went to see a specialty oncologist in Dallas. It was here that Dr. Costas diagnosed me with Ewing sarcoma. Everything from there happened so fast. Within the same week of diagnosis, I was scheduled for surgery to input my port. Immediately following the surgery, I started what turned out to be the hardest year of my life. The doctors told me that I would lose my hair within 7 to 14 days from the start of chemotherapy. I remember telling my parents that I was going to be different. I was going to be the one who didn't lose their hair. My hair was going to be immune to the effects of chemotherapy. Sure enough, on the 14th day, I woke up excited because I still had all of my hair. It wasn't until the 15th day of treatment that I climbed out of the shower in tears. I walked toward my mom with a handful of hair, and we cried together. Turns out, I was just like everyone else. My hair didn't have any kind of super immunity to chemotherapy like I thought it would. Shortly after this, I decided to cut my hair really short. My mom would sit up with me every night as I cried over my hair. She would brush my hair each night before going to sleep. It was always so hard to turn around and look at her after she was done and see her fighting back tears as she held a bowl filled with my hair. I didn't want to have to sit and watch every last strand of my hair fall out, and I didn't want her to have to go through that either. We decided it was the best decision to go ahead and shave all the hair off. My father sat right beside me as I had my head shaved, and he too shaved his head. I asked the typical why me questions. I was so confused, angry, and hurt. I was mad that I wouldn't be able to play sports anymore or attend my junior year of high school with my friends. Most of all, I was scared. I didn't really know what to expect. The truth is, nobody can prepare you for a battle with cancer. I had around 10 surgeries that year. Somewhere along the line, I lost count. The biggest surgery included my tumor removal. They ended up having to take out a lot more than what they initially expected. The surgery was almost 24 hours long. My parents were told several times throughout the surgery that my leg may need to be amputated. They were also told that I may never walk again. But guess what? My leg wasn't amputated, and I was able to walk again. Tonight I didn't come here to speak to all of you about how awful cancer is. I mean, let's face it, cancer sucks. But we all already know that. I came to share a little bit more than that with you. I came to share my journey, my testimony. While having cancer flipped my life upside down, I know that it turned me into a completely different person. I came to realize that the world didn't really revolve around me. There was more to the world than just having a certain number of friends or winning a certain number of basketball games in a season. I was very humbled by this. I got to grow closer to my family. While some friends walked away, others walked even closer. An experience like this really opens your eyes to appreciate what and who you have in your life. During the hardest times of my treatment, I grew closer to my mother. She was the one who provided me with a lot of tough love. Oftentimes I tell her that I just wanted to give up, but she was always there to push me to fight. She kept a journal for me because she knew that I wouldn't feel like keeping my own. My father was the one who lifted my spirits. Doesn't matter what situation he's in, even until this day, he'll have a smile on his face and a corny joke to tell you. Being able to laugh at these moments kept my spirit alive. I will forever be grateful to my wonderful parents for the support that they provided me. There was not even one treatment where a member of my family wasn't sitting right by my side. I also grew much closer to one of my aunts during this time. She would come to the hospital with a bag of pedicure supplies. As I lay in my hospital bed, she would sit at the foot of my bed and give me pedicures. She was always sure to bring me cards. Each one always had a Bible verse inside. She would pray over me in the hospital or even over the phone. I stand here tonight telling you this because I want each and every one of you to realize how much potential you have. It only takes one act of kindness to brighten the day of someone who's struggling to make it through each day. In fact, it was during these moments that I realized that I had taken God for granted. I realized that God had blessed me with an army of people to love me, support me, and help me survive through this hard time in my life. Soon I started to become curious about a closer relationship with Christ. I can confidently stand here now and tell you that without this experience in my life, I wouldn't be a follower of Christ. On May 5th, 2009, I finished my last chemotherapy treatment. After missing an entire year of high school, I wasn't sure if I would be able to graduate on time. After a long, hard senior year, I was able to graduate in the top 10% of my class. As of this year, I'm 5 years cancer-free. In the midst of my treatment, I was a mess. I felt like my battle with Ewing sarcoma would never end. However, it has ended. I'm so much stronger today than I was at the age of 16 when I was diagnosed. I am able to appreciate the life that I have much more than I ever did before. My battle with Ewing sarcoma has given me hope and appreciation for life. While I would never choose to go through this again, I'm almost glad that I had this experience. Originally, I never planned on receiving a 4-year degree from a university. I was only going to attend community school for a couple years because that's what my parents wanted me to do. I didn't have much interest in any particular lifelong career. However, I know that God has saved me for a reason, and I plan on spending the rest of my life finding and fulfilling that reason. Currently, I'm a senior at Texas Women's University in Denton. In December, I will be graduating with my Bachelor's of Science in Psychology. I've been able to maintain a 3.9 GPA throughout my entire college career because I'm just so passionate about making a difference in the lives of others. God willing, I'll be entering into a graduate counseling program in the spring. With these degrees, I plan to spend my life counseling children and teenagers that are battling cancer. I also know that without this experience in my life, I wouldn't have the faith that I do today. I was in a rough place before treatment. Like I said, I was conceited and selfish and stuck up. Honestly, I didn't really care about other people too much. I have no doubt that God allowed me to endure a battle with Ewing sarcoma so that I would change my life direction. He has and has always had a plan for my life, but I would have never followed his plan without this experience. I was raised in East Texas. I never planned on moving away from the small town that I grew up in. However, shortly after my treatment, I felt called to move to this area. I spent some time living with the same man who prayed over me during my treatments. She served as my spiritual mentor and helped bridge the transition from living at home with my parents to living on my own. The person that you see today is not the person that you would have seen 5 years ago. It is my hope that the person you see today is also not the same person that you will see 5 years from now. Cancer has taught me to never grow complacent with where you are in life. There is always something new and exciting that you can be doing to grow and improve as a person. Cancer has shown me that life is short and that it can be taken in the blink of an eye. It has taught me to appreciate the relationship that I have. Cancer has made me realize that life is a beautiful thing. Tonight you may have come here worried about work, school, finances, or even what you're going to have for dinner tomorrow night. I challenge you to live in the moment. I challenge you to spend time cherishing each moment that you have here on this earth. I challenge you to not take your relationships for granted. Most important, I challenge you to make a difference, just as 1 million for Anna is doing in the lives of so many people. You have the power to make a difference today, tomorrow, and forever.